You're tuned in to The Council, a show dedicated to Star Wars the card game by Fantasy Flight Games. If you like the show, there's a video and an audio-only version linked and listed in the description below. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at Fully Ops. If you're into Star Wars Imperial Assault, also be sure to check out our other podcast, The IA Team. We hope you check us out, but for now, sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everyone, to The Council. We are here with episode 8, entitled Wars Not Make One Great, which will... there's a reason for that, and we'll get onto that a bit later. But we've got the usual crew of misfits, so I'm here, and I'm joined by current reigning world champion, Tom Malucci. How are you doing, Tom?
Doing great. How you doing?
Pretty good. Any updates since last time? How have you been? Anything special going on in your life?
Oh, too many Store Championships, man. Busy.
Busy.
Oh, yeah, we ran our Star Wars one the other day. I think we had 19, which is the largest I've seen in the world. I mean, there's a thread on Card Game DB, and there was one in France with 18 that I saw. But yeah, it was really good. We had a bunch of people come up from New York, and all the local guys came out, and it was really good.
Good.
We have our Throne Store Championship tomorrow, which I plan to win. So we'll see how that goes.
Good luck with that. And great news that you guys can, you've got such a big and diverse meta, you can reign in the largest store championship in the world. That's a good thing to have for our current world champion, for sure.
Yeah,
we've
great.
Also joined again by his lordship, Mick Cipra, 2014 world champion. How are you doing, Mick?
Good, Andy.
Good. How are you? I know you've been busy with some not really not Star Wars gaming, but a bit of math gaming potentially.
Math gaming.
Have you been?
That's true. Yeah, we had the Minnesota State Math Tournament on Monday, and our math team. This is a high school league.
Yep.
Won the season again. We've won the season the last 9 years, but the previous 2 years we always fell short at the state tournament. It's like, the season gets you there, but you got to perform on that final day. And it was a tough-fought battle, but we won 126 to 122, beating out our rival neighbors.
Baby.
So,
did you give them all headbands?
Well deserved. They all get headbands.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wait, you don't have a pile of those headbands, do you?
Oh, man. Tom, I only had the one. And
Nice.
Well, good to have you back, both of you. And we have this week's guest, or this episode's guest. You know him, you love him. He's over here on my side of the pond. Darth BS, Anton Price. How are you doing, Anton?
I'm good, Andy. Thanks for having me back.
Pleasure. Always good to have you. How have you been? What have you been up to these past few weeks?
I had my local store championship the other week, and I came second again.
Ooh, again.
Yeah, again. Yeah,
Ouch.
but it was fun. It was good. Rookie took it, which was a big surprise, new to the game.
Wow!
And he came out and he beat. I'm going to show Callum up for this. He beat Callum, who's gone and won 4 out of 5 store championships he's turned up to, and he swept him. So yeah, it was a big surprise.
Is it a rookie with some rookie decks, or a rookie with the visuals?
Running the standard Jedi Navy, he just seemed to be a good, competent card player. So.
Great.
Yeah, came out and surprised everyone.
Fab. Well, not fab for the second place for you, obviously.
No.
But we've, I think
New
it's
blood.
A bit of a theme over here, yeah. We're seeing pretty much all the stores that I've been to I've seen people picking up the game and new players in tournaments. So that's a good sign running into 2016. So we've got the usual running order of topics today to go through news. Then we've actually got spoilers. And then Anton's guest topic. But before we do that, I think we've missed it off the show notes. But I just thought we'll do a quick 2-minute recap because I think we're pretty much getting to the end of Store Championship season. Don't think there's that many left. Certainly here in the UK, there's maybe 1 or 2 weekends left. I've not seen any crazy decks take them. So I think for our part over here in the UK, Anton, apart from your decks, most people running the usual Jedi Navy. Is that the same over there with you guys?
In the one that we just ours, Nick beat me in the finals. He's Dr. Munmun on the card game DB.
Yeah.
He won in the finals, and he had a Brainiac Jedi deck that was pretty unique. I played him in the first round of the finals, and my Sith destroyed his Brainiac deck. Like, just it murdered everything he played. But then the second game, he got both of his Leias. I killed the first, and he just controlled the second. But he was playing Jedi on the other side. But I saw a bunch of stuff with 19 people. There was Scum out there. There was that deck we saw in the Skype tournament that won the light side capture.
Kraken.
The running
deck.
the trench or release the Kraken deck.
Yeah. That I think there was 2 or 3 people playing that, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But yeah, I was still on Sith.
So the immortal question before we get into news then. Brainiac. Do we think it's, everyone's on the forums raging about the amount of broken combos he can pull off. I've not seen them. I know they're there, but I don't
Have they listed a broken combo?
Well, not just the amount and flexibility of things that he can do, whether it's bumping up home 1 or, Owen, getting you more resources, etc.
I think the bigger problem is not that he's broken. He just causes a bunch of, questions in the game state that, I had a ton of questions during our store championship about how he worked. I saw somebody on Reddit post in the Star Wars subreddit that they were talking about Brainiac, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's amazing!" Blah blah blah. Leia can do 2 or 3 damage, and I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that. You can't do that." But that's the problem. It's confusing, and not everybody knows how it plays. I think it's good, but it takes a lot of setup, and it's higher variance than just standard Jedi, right? I could just play normal Jedi and smash face and be fine.
Wait, you smash face with Jedi?
Oh yeah, I love smash face with Jedi.
Yeah. Funny that.
I started playing some BTS Luke Tom.
Oh, he's so good.
He seems pretty good.
He's
He's pretty good.
Yeah, turn 1 BTS, Luke's lightsaber and Shien training. Scoop.
Yeah,
I think.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, good to see the store championships doing well, and we'll move on to regionals in the news section. But before we get there, Tom, we've got the new spring kit.
Kits.
Da-da-da.
Yes. So the spring kit showed up at my store yesterday. So I, of course, went over there and took one of them so I could inspect all the prize support and share it with you guys.
Okay.
So
far away.
So we got the dial, which is in my hand right here.
I love that logo. Where have I seen that logo before?
I'm not sure. I've never seen the logo, but
Is it a Star Wars thing?
It's pretty interesting. So the first thing I noticed is that unlike the original dial and the Nationals dial that me and Anton have, this one does not actually connect. Anton's showing his off. The top piece just sits on the base where the numbers are, and it just spins. They also added these little things on the bottom, so it's elevated off the table, which is kind of nice.
Oh, right, okay.
One of the other things that I noticed, which is very strange, after I originally talked about this with you guys earlier, the numbers are backwards. The dial spins in the opposite direction. So this one spins down when you want to go up. This one you have to spin up to get the numbers, which is kind of messing with my mind. I was trying to play with this, and
it's all wrong.
Yeah, it's all wrong. I've spun this dial, hundreds of games worth of times.
Yeah.
And it always spins
out
this way.
Have they done it so that it spins because the Death Star goes round Yavin anti-clockwise?
Doesn't matter. The muscle memory is different than how you know.
But it feels like they've done it for a theme reason.
Cards.
Yeah, so that actually, I didn't love this concept at first, the separate thing. We talked about it, and it seems like with some magnets, you could actually make that really cool, although Fantasy Flight could have just added some magnets or something. But the fact that it's backwards, that it spins backwards, it really concerns me. I'm not sure how that's going to be long term, but that's what we got.
Play a nudge, put the dial up 1. Done.
I'm sure the neuroplasticity of your brain will be able to...
Yeah, play a nudge, increase the die. Oops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, so the pack also has a couple new promos. So we have TIE attack squadrons.
Yep.
So
we'll put pictures of... I know Tom's got physical copies that he might show up to webcam, but we'll put pictures there.
They're in sleeves, so they're back.
You need to put them in some Ultra Pro Mat sleeves, Tom.
I know. But the TIE attack squadron, we'll put pictures on the screen.
Yep.
Amazing looking, and the wedge is the prize. Also, I mean, not very playable at this point. I don't play wedge pretty much ever, but the artwork is really, really nice.
So TIE attack squadron is a participation.
Correct.
Wedge is top 2?
Top 2. Yep.
And then the dials for the winner.
Dial is for the winner.
So this is continuing the theme of no play mats.
Well, this is the first kit of no playmats, correct. Yeah, so since our last episode, we got this kit. We also got summer kit announcements, which are pretty huge. Still no mats in those kits. But they added, they're doing generic Scum tokens as the prize. So we have no idea what those look like yet. My guess...
Mick's not a fan. He's always back. He is a fan. Okay.
I don't know if he's a fan. The generic Scum tokens, I'm assuming, are going to be like a replacement for focus tokens.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be like the size of the original focus tokens, or like the power tokens from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm assuming, and they'll just have a Scum symbol on them.
Yeah.
So those could be really nice.
And that paves the way for them to do... If they're going to do that for Scum, it feels like they're going to do it for all factions.
So here's my mind thinking ahead. This is the second kit of the year, and we'll get 3 kits this year, right? And next year they announced that they're upping it to 4 kits. So I assume we're going to get Scum and 1 other faction, and then next year all 4 kits will be the other 4 factions.
Gotcha.
That would be my expectation of what they're planning on doing.
Yeah. So spring, no tokens. Summer and winter this year, some tokens. And then, okay, yeah. That would make sense. That would, if FFG have lined it up like that, that'd be pretty good.
My only concern about these tokens, reading the kit, is the winner takes away the tokens. Correct. So they're going to be very hardly sought after, and we don't know how many you're going to get in a set. So
Game of Thrones, they gave out 15 power tokens in the kit as the prize, so it might be 15, and that's enough. I think, like, I would rather have 2 sets, but you might just have, like, 1 set that matches your light side, 1 set that matches your dark, and if you, like, go over, if you need more than 15 for a specific game, you just pull from the other side.
The generic
right?
ones, yeah.
I hear Scum like tactics, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. We'll get onto that.
But they're doing that on the opponent's stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. They need their own tokens. So yeah, and then we got a couple promos in that kit, of course.
Yep.
The prize appears to be Prince Xizor, which the artwork. Not a lot of. I talked to a lot of people who said they didn't like the artwork, but I like it a lot. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's a great choice for promo artwork. I think Scum's really getting to the point where they're going to be really good. More on that soon, but he's the base of that, right? Like I think for Scum to be good, he's going to be involved. Just
any unit that if you win Edge can handle 3 opposing units is a flagship.
Plus, he has Prince's Scheme, which is really one of the best fake cards for. It's almost better.
Oh, right, Prince's Scheme. I was thinking Shadows of the Empire, and that can shut down a lot of strategies.
Yeah. No, I think across the board, Xizor's pod is solid, so I think it's going to get a lot of play going forward, and now we have some promos for it, which I love. Love promos.
The other one, I know you weren't so much of a fan of this one, actually, Tom, so the participation for the summer kit has been announced as the Lady Luck. In the classic timeless pod, I think FFG said something like that.
The staple
of all Scum smuggler decks, the Lady Luck.
Yeah.
I actually quite like that.
The artwork is cool, but like I just think there's better choices for smugglers, like Falcon. We don't have a Falcon promo.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to say there's a staple of the
You don't have a Falcon promo?
Well,
We don't have a Falcon promo.
We don't have a Falcon promo. We don't have a Han.
No, we have Han.
Do we?
Hey, we got Han.
Han was Store Championship, like the first Store Championship.
But that's Orabesh, isn't it? Is that
No,
Orabesh?
it's
Full art.
So one where his blasters shooting out right across the.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. God, mind blank.
That was Freeholder Madness.
Gotcha.
Freeholder Dash
Yeah,
Madness.
Yeah. We also have Chewie recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's many other.
Lando as well, isn't there?
Oh, yep. Lando came out recently.
Are they trying to make us play smuggler cards?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's Lando, Chewie, and
Falcon seems like it will be in the pipeline. Then it's kind of a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, but like I just that line specifically, the whole a staple card of smugglers and spies. Like, I think it's good. I don't think it's a bad card. I think it's more important to smuggler vehicle decks than.
Yeah, but it's not what Palpatine is to Sith.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Or what the Millennium Falcon is to smugglers.
Yeah. and it's an interesting thing whilst we talk about the Falcon and cards that haven't had an alt art. There's a couple that I think would, like the Falcon is one of those cards that I think the original art on is so gorgeous. The Falcon flying through, I think it's in Cloud City, isn't it? That artwork.
In fairness, the Falcon probably would be like the first and second place prize.
Yeah.
It would be the rarer one.
And like you could also just do a Falcon promo for the Rogue Squadron Falcon that a lot of people are playing right now with Sleuths or with Rebels. Like it doesn't have to be the other Falcon. I would prefer it to be 72 because that's the Falcon that I prefer playing. But there are other Falcons. It's just weird that we don't have a Falcon promo at this point. But I think they started to realize that we had a very heavy, like lots of Jedi and Sith promos. We've talked about this in the past. And then they finally started realizing, like, oh, we need to start doing some other ones. Because there's a lot of big names in Jedi and Sith, but, they finally started doing, there's a lot more Navy ones and Rebel ones recently. And now we're getting some Scum and some Smugglers. So
how do we feel about the fact that it doesn't look like we're getting playmats anymore?
For the seasonal kits.
For the seasonal kits, yeah.
My stack in the other room is okay with it. But the thing is it's it's not great for newer players.
No, this is what
but FFG did just announce like 4 new playmats for Thrones, like that you can buy, and they did that a while back for Netrunner. They had 4 playmats that you could buy, so they might just be starting to think like, hey, we'll just sell playmats for most of the games, and then we'll give away playmats at store champs and regionals and above, because those events still have some unique playmats coming out, and the game night kits, you just get a bunch of acrylic stuff. So
yeah,
we had the Force Awakens playmats, didn't we? They released them.
Yep, they sold those. So
I can understand it. The people's collections of playmats are getting larger at this point if they've been playing the game for a while. But there was something particular in the beginning of the game that you'd play in that top prize, you would get a unique playmat for that season kit. Like, I wanted that Mara Jade playmat, so I brought my A game for it. And then I wanted the Leia playmat, and I got it off of the Tears of Shad. Like, it was so good.
Nice.
And I have a friend who, like, he went specifically to one of the Thrones regionals recently and won it, and like he plays with that Thrones mat because there was, it was a top prize. He was the only one at that tournament to get it. There are other people who got it at the season kit, but it's like that way you earn your prize as opposed to pay $19.95 and get.
I'm with you, and that is a real thing because it's not Star Wars, but the new regional kit for Thrones, I will be battling my ass off to try and win that.
Right, yeah, so there are exclusive prizes still, so it has shifted, and it's like, well, I want a dial. I'm going to bring my A game for that dial, but I think as an entry, a lot of people still really like playmats.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is also, you're looking at this from a perspective of, you guys usually only run 1 game night kit per season. right?
Right.
Not all metas do that. Like our meta, we try to run a game night kit every 3 weeks. We basically we do one every week, but it alternates between Star Wars, Netrunners, and Thrones. So like we're running a lot of game night kits. So when we order kits, we order like 10 of each kit, and like everybody ends up getting the mat eventually, right? So it's not as
if you've already won the playmat, you just pass it down to the next highest person.
Yeah, or sometimes if we have big events coming up, I'll take them and I give them out. Like I won a second of the Summer Vader playmat, but I gave it out at the store championship.
Okay.
So
yeah.
like an extra, we gave it to 5th place. I also gave my Tarkin my Judging mat because I had like 3 of them already. I gave that to last place. They were happy about that. So, yeah, just.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. It's clearly now, especially now Tom that you've mentioned that it comes in not in the usual cardboard box. It's a smaller padded bag, effectively.
Yep.
That's got to save them some shipping.
The kits were cheaper too.
Yeah.
Which is good for like stores that are buying 10 of each kit. You know.
And for stores that struggle to make the cost back on some of these kits as well, where it's £20, $30. And you only get 4 or 5 people turn up.
Yeah,
that's a step in the right direction. But I do see what you're saying, Mick, about there is a draw around a playmat. It's the one thing everyone wants, a nice playmat to play
on. I'm kind of okay with the playmat staying at the bigger events though, like store champs, regionals. They should keep their playmats. Like if they get rid of the playmats at those levels, then it'll be kind of weird. But like for a new player to come in, play a bunch of games, maybe get some tokens, which would be cool, and then be ready to play at a store championship and get top 4 and earn a mat. Like,
yeah,
I think that's cool.
I agree. Well, that's the new 2 kits, the spring and summer. Both Tom's already got the spring. Summer will be with us shortly. But we'll move on to US regionals. You guys have had the dates announced for that. So yeah, you've had the regionals. I know we're over in the UK. We've had our 5 or 6 regionals announced for a couple of, maybe best part of a month now. You guys have caught up? Yay.
Yeah, they finally got announced. We think we have 22 total.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down. There was 24 last year, which is unfortunate.
So yeah, you guys last year it was definitely kind of a region, and then with like that tri-state area or whatever it was had 3 regionals, didn't it?
They had 8 regions. Each region got 3. This year, the U.S. got rid of the concept of regions, and they just tried to put them in populated areas, essentially.
Okay.
But we got a few less. I think Star Wars got 22, where I think Netrunner and Thrones are around 25, 26.
Right.
So those games are a little bit more popular. Got a few more regionals.
So for those of you watching on the YouTube show rather than the audio podcast, there's a map and a list of all the regionals flying up in the centre there. Tom, are there any regions or any areas of the country in the US that kind of got left out, or?
Yeah, I mean, so my first of all, my store didn't get a regional, which I'm salty about, but it's okay. Connecticut got the regional, and they have a pretty small meta. Like they only have about 2 active Star Wars players down there.
Wow.
And I go to a lot of their events and I bring people from my meta to kind of like try to support them. But they got the Star Wars event, and like I said earlier, we had 19 people for our store championship. They had 5, and 3 of them were people from my meta. So it kind of sucks. A lot of the people that play Star Wars tend to be like, older people, responsibilities, jobs, and I've talked to a lot of the people from my local meta, and they're probably not going to go to the Connecticut Regional because it's just, it takes a little bit too much time to drive.
How far is that?
It's about 2 hours. It's not that bad for certain people, but like I have a lot of the players have kids, they're married, they just can't get away for a long day.
Holy crap, mate.
That's okay.
And the fifth council member,
Aslan.
Sorry, Tom.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You do not grant him the rank of master.
No.
And he's upset.
He's upset. I also noticed that like the whole like Virginia area kind of got screwed a little bit. Like I think there's a New York City regional, and there's a Connecticut regional, and then the next closest regional is like North Carolina. And then I think if you go west, it's kind of like Ohio or something. So like the whole like Virginia area, which I know a bunch of players like Dante and Jason, they're all from that area. There seems to be nothing, like they have to drive 4 or 5 plus hours in any direction to get to a regional, which kind of sucks. Yeah. I think last year they had one in Maryland, which was at least slightly closer than New York or North Carolina. So, yeah, I mean, losing 2 regionals seems like it made it a little bit more spread out for a couple metas, which isn't great. So,
were there any plus sides to moving away from the 8 regions that we saw last year? Do we think?
Not for my region. I don't know about other regions specifically. I know that my region was one of the regions that lost one. Like, we went from last year having Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Maryland. That was a region, even though I don't know how Maine to Maryland is a region. We had 3, and one of the lost regionals was out of our region. So,
gotcha.
It definitely wasn't great for us. I don't know how it affected other people.
I think we lost a region or a regional in my region too, because last year I think it was FFG, the Chicago area, and Madison, and there's not one in Madison. So my nearest other regional was over in Chicago.
How far is that for you?
That's like an 8-hour drive.
Oh yeah, that's brutal. Yeah,
I might go.
Yeah,
dedication.
It's tough because, like, even though the game might not be as popular as Thrones or Netrunner, that doesn't mean that there's not groups all across the U.S. They're just smaller groups. Mm-hmm. So having less regionals just means that people have to travel further, which unfortunately just isn't possible for some people, right? Like, I'm going to North Carolina for the Star Wars and the Thrones regionals because thankfully they're on back-to-back weekends, and I have a childhood friend that lives there, so I'm going to hang out in North Carolina for a week and participate in those, but not everybody's going to be able to do that, you know? So it's a little unfortunate.
Well, so yeah, we've got the full list of US regionals. So as I say, map and locations in the middle. But as well as the regionals locations being announced, it's about time we saw some prizes as well because it's not too long. So it's nice to see FFG putting the news article out for regional prize support. People know what they will be travelling for. So this is across the world, obviously. Regional prizes, we have a lovely play mat. So, as we've said, the summer and spring kits don't have a mat. Regionals and store championships do. So it's a 3PO on Endor.
It's a pretty sweet play mat.
Pretty sweet play mat. I know a lot of Ewok players over here will be loving that play mat.
Yes, I've seen a lot of Ewok love for that on Card Game DB, and hate actually.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it's not, it wouldn't make my top 3 mats, I would say, but I can see why people.
So I'm not. I was having a conversation with Mick about this the other day,
right?
And lately, every time I see new play mats, the C-3PO one. And the Tarkin one, and specifically that Thrones one, the Stark mat looks amazing. But like I look at a mat and I'm like, oh my god, that mat is sweet.
You're never gonna play.
And then I'm like, shit, I'm never gonna use it
ever.
But
I don't know how many people can relate to you, Tom.
No, like
yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is coming from the guy who used the same mat that in a Netrunner World Championship. Didn't actually run a Netrunner mat, did you?
No.
Why would you?
I play Thrones on my... so I figured out that the way Vader holds his fist, it's a perfect spot to put my house card for Thrones. Like, Vader's holding up my house card. It's amazing. But I'm eventually going to take a bunch of the play mats in the stack that I always talk about, and I'm going to frame them, and I'm going to put them downstairs in my, like, big game room. And that mat is, like, it's beautiful, it's really bright and colorful, and it's, like... It'll look great on the wall, and essentially what I want to have eventually is like one mat with all the major characters, and that's a great C-3PO mat, which we haven't seen him on a play mat yet.
True.
I expected when we eventually saw a C-3PO mat, R2 would be on it as well, which he's not. So eventually we're going to have to get an R2 mat now. But no, I think the mat's really good.
Yeah,
match
it is. And like I say, it's a nice bright matte rather than a kind of dull.
Is there any artwork for cards with both 3PO and R2?
Yeah, whatever this box is.
Oh yeah.
Prep for Reach.
Yeah, but I mean, this wouldn't have been a good map. So like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll figure something out. Yeah. They might have like R2 with like Luke or something because we haven't gotten a lot of Luke mats either.
Yeah, promo R2 is only a matter of time, I'm sure.
Wasn't there a pilot Luke mat at Nationals?
I don't want to talk about it. Yes, there was. It's not that bad. It's just.
I hate you guys. So, as well as the mat, which I think is for top 8, there's the credit card spot gloss affiliation, the reversible plastic one, which is Jedi and Sith.
I looked closely, and it looks like they actually have numerals on their resource boxes now.
Woo! So you can actually pay for stuff.
They're exponentially worse than the ones last year because they're susceptible to Brainiac.
Right, yeah. If you want to get around Brainiac, just
that was actually a judge's question at the store championship last week. Somebody was like, his thing doesn't have a numeral. I was like, well, either Brainiac can affect it or he can't use it for resources. You guys decide. I just walked away.
Beautiful.
I almost wish they had not put the one on there because it would have been at least consistent with last year's, and I would love to have all 3 of those.
But wasn't there, like 2 years ago, they had the Smugglers and Scum and Villainy?
Yep.
Yeah, but this is it. But it has a number, but it's the old style. It's not the full art.
The old style, I see.
Yeah. So this is the third different. I don't know why that was just sitting right next to me on the desk.
Because you've got one of everything.
Well, yeah, and this is the non-numeral one. This is, but yeah, I mean, I thought they would. Yeah, exactly.
Resource.
Yeah, except for only one of those is cardboard quality.
Looks like a droid is staring at me.
Yeah.
That's the other side.
Okay, so those spot gloss affiliations, that's
top 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then some more damage. We get another set of damage tokens for a bit further down the pile. They've changed the colour on these, and they've also given us the 2 damage token, which is new. So you get a set of 1s, a set of 2s, and a set of 3s, which is I don't know.
The $2 bill.
Sorry, mate.
So the $2 bill.
The $2 bill, oh, baby. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is I think for new players. I don't think I would swap out my set of tokens at this point unless the tokens that they come out with are gorgeous. And I just don't have space for a set of 2s anywhere.
I know a lot of people that have like one set of the tokens from last year or 2 years ago, and I will be looking to trade all of my new tokens for more of the old tokens. So if one of the newer players that might just have one set of the old tokens wins a set and they want to trade me their other set,
get in touch.
Come hit me up.
His Twitter handle is below his face.
Also, I have like 50 of these things. Way too many of these.
It was pretty intimidating when I went to the Kansas City Regional 2 summers ago, and I played in the final round against Flip the Force.
Oh, because he has like 200
and so, yeah, he's got this gigantic poker jackpot pile of tokens, and like so while he draws his cards, he's thinking it over, going into an edge valley, just like.
Hey, if we're talking about being intimidated by someone with a mountain of tokens, Mick, you can't.
Well, like after that experience, like I've started doing that with my tokens.
Because Tom and I commentated one of your games.
Your tokens are even scarier because people can't tell what they are because they're so worn out. It's like, is that damage or focus? I don't know what's going on.
And the pile just gradually seeps onto the board. I think Chewbacca's taken 82 damage for no reason.
I got that style of play from Nathan Ferrero.
Okay.
He plays with this gigantic horde of tokens. Like I saw him doing that in the 2013 Worlds. I mean, I probably always kind of did it too. It was just like, oh, that's sweet. You can't tell what's going on. Not that I want to create a confusion.
This is how Mick wins. Can't tell what's going on.
Oh man. So damage tokens as well. So again, I don't know with them this is the second set of damage tokens we've seen. We've seen our second set of focus tokens last year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more shields come out at some point.
So the problem with the shields, right, is I thought they would have done shields this time around at regionals because the only shields that the card game has are from Worlds, right? Which means they're very rare. There's only like 16 sets of them. And people already have damage. A lot of people have damage. So like I thought they would have done shields as a big event. If they now give out shields the rest of the year, it's going to either, if they follow suit with the whole Scum tokens and do all the tokens, that means shields aren't going to go into a game night kit, which means they have to either wait till next year's store champs or regionals, or
nationals, maybe participation in nationals,
or they'll do them. They did a top 32 at nationals for these acrylic tokens, the commit tokens. They might do top 32, but I don't know that they'll do a participation tokens.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh, those force commit ones were top 32? I thought they were more exclusive.
Top 32.
Oh, okay.
No one I don't think no one uses them. Apart from Tyler.
Tyler loves them.
Yeah.
He
that's
always
probably why I think everybody uses them.
Just him. Yeah.
There's also a promo card. It's something I'm really happy to see in the game. It's the Sith Library alt art. I'm not sure
which Sith Library.
Is it from Vader?
Which Sith Library?
Is it Vader's?
Vader doesn't have a Sith Library.
Sorry, Vader. Yeah, Palpatine.
It's probably Heart of the Empire.
You troll.
That's probably Heart of the Empire.
Yeah.
No, it has to.
Palpatine.
I would think Palpatine's the number one option. If it's somehow not Palpatine, maybe Mara.
Council.
I think
or Council. Yeah. It has to be Palpatine though, right? Like he has 3 promos in his pod already. You go to 4, then they reprint the Force Choke promo with Palpatine's number. You have a full promo set except for the objective. Be pretty sweet.
That'd be sweet.
Well, I want some art Emperor's Web.
What we need to ask FFG officially, if I take a little sticker and I put it on the bottom of a promo with a different number on it, can I use it in a different pod? Because at least then it represents the pod that it's supposed to be in.
As long as the sticker with the number on it goes over the objective set and not the guy's health.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's fine. Yeah. Palpatine has 204 health.
Shoot. Yeah, that'd be way too broken. 4 or 5 health, that's good.
Yeah.
No, but if you could do that, like, for something like these Sith libraries, that'd be awesome. Like, just use them all over the place.
Yeah.
And that would make me way more interested in them printing more cards that show up in different pods, right? Or really just all the basic resources. Like, give me a promo Dagobah Training Grounds that I can use in any set that has a Dagobah Training Grounds.
Same with this one, yeah.
That'd be great.
One of them. Full set of these alt-art libraries, if you can, really.
It
does need to be noted somehow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
When my opponent plays a Sith library, like, I want to know. Well, I mean, generally you know, but if that's a Sith library number 22, it's like, whoa, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's playing Janice G. I love Janice G. Got a new pod with a Sith library in it.
Baby. Mixing it up.
I don't know. It would be an interesting conversation with them for sure. It would make me have to go find 2 more Force Chokes.
You'll find them. I'm sure you'll dig them up somewhere, Tom.
I would find them somewhere.
And then, obviously, the winner takes home, as always, they've not changed up the design like they did in previous years, but the winner takes home the Buy at a National and the acrylic trophy.
Yes.
So still the oval. I think in 2013 it was quite an angular trophy. 2014 and 15 it was the oval.
Yep.
And they've kept that way.
It looks the same, yeah. I wrote a note down. I've heard that, you know how they added a second nationals or whatever? So previously we've always had Gen Con, and our playmats would say North America Championship. And this year they added a U.S. Nationals at the Origins Game Fair, which happens in like Columbus in like June. And then later in August, Gen Con is now going to have an official North America Championship. So I've heard that the buy at regionals is only good for a national, which would be Origins, not Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gen Con is a different level event now.
Gotcha.
So it's interesting because I don't know if... Yeah, Mick, see, you look confused. I don't know. This is what I've heard. Also,
I understand what's going on. It's just... That's... Okay.
Also, is the buy at nationals good for a continental championship, like North America?
Right.
Or is it good for Worlds? They haven't announced that yet, I don't think. So
No.
it's interesting.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully they will. And, especially if the community starts asking these kind of questions, what can I use the buyout? There'll be an article or a response, I think, somewhere on the forums at least. So we'll see what they come out with. But
Can I interrupt us for a second? Because
always.
This just got posted online by John from the New York Meta. This is a May the Force Yoda custom promo out of New York.
Baby.
It's absolutely amazing. Sorry for that interruption.
John,
it's absolutely amazing.
call me, bro.
It looks really good.
We'll put a picture up in the middle there. But that's the New York guys, John Heath Park over there. They're amazing at getting promos done for their local meta. Somehow Tom manages to swindle getting copies of them.
Wow, that is amazing looking.
But if you'll put it,
it's 112 below Yoda.
Yeah, I said May the 4th.
But if you can get up to New York and see those guys and play in a tournament with them and see, A, they're great players, go and shake their hands and say hello. But B, get a hand on one of those promos and ship it to England. I will pay good money. So, yeah, regionals done. Prize support around. That's good. So we'll move on. The next one, we've got a bit of news on the European Championship over here in our side of the pond. It's going to be scheduled for July. We are on the 1v1 tournament 16th.
July 2016 or 17?
2016.
Oh, you're talking about the player-based.
The player-based rather than the FFG official European tournament, which we'll come to. But yeah, the community over here, specifically over in Spain, have been putting together a European Championship so that we can, compete on the same kind of level as you guys and have an event between regionals and worlds. Because we didn't get an official nationals for a couple of years either. So it's on the 16th and 17th of July, the 1v1 tournament. 2016, and we'll put a link down in the description and some images over in the centre as well. But we're starting to see some of the prize support come out for that. So there's some gorgeous kind of gem effect shield tokens as well. So if you haven't managed to get your hands on any of the world's top 16 shields, here's an option for you if you're over this side of the pond. Some gorgeous shield tokens. So I know a bunch of us over here in the UK are going to sort out a big hotel, try and get kind of an 8 or 10 room complex kind of going on, and we'll stay together and stay in Barcelona for a week. That's not too bad. But yeah, check it out. If you can get over to Spain sometime in July, it'd be good to see you. And yeah, keep an eye on the news coming from these guys as well. And so escalating up, we've had the tournament kits, regionals support has been announced, the regionals dates. The European Championship is making some steps forward. There's been a huge announcement around Worlds, hasn't there, Mick? This is kind of pertains to your local store, the event centre. Star Wars is splitting out and getting its own World Championship weekend. So,
yeah, the Star Wars weekend. So next year, well, I guess it's this year, but November 2016, it will be all of the games together at once, just like it was the previous year, but they were packed on space, and they had to start on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Now, there's no additional games being added for this Worlds, right?
There actually will be one less, because they won't be doing Cthulhu this year, and L5R won't be out by then.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so one less, but Armada was out during Worlds this year.
Yes.
And I felt bad for the X-Wing players because they had to, if they wanted to compete, and that's a competitive group, they had to come in on a Wednesday already. So the weekends are getting long. So that'll be all normal. And then the following year, 2017, they're getting split. Who gets the kids? May is going to have the Star Wars, all of the Star Wars games, which is the card game and the miniature game, and the other miniature game.
All of the minis games.
Yeah, all of it, and the other weekend gets the rest of the card games.
All
so, which is, I mean, it's interesting. I think it's great to split it up into a Star Wars weekend and do a card game weekend, but honestly, I don't see a lot of the miniature people switching over to the LCG in their spare time, whereas I see that more from cross-pollination between the card game players.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of
Thrones here.
I've talked to a lot of the local Thrones and Netrunners players from my meta who would travel to Worlds, and depending on schedule, and usually they play one of those two games as their primary, and they'll play Star Wars as the secondary if it doesn't overlap, and they're all kind of in this mode of like, will it be worth it to go in May? Am I going to do 2 trips? You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit. I mean, for some people's schedules, like myself, it'll be a little bit strange doubling up and doing November immediately into May, but then after that, it'll just be every May. I only get 2 personal days a year, so that's used on Worlds, so I'm not quite sure what that will wind up being this upcoming year. It all depends on if the November one falls on a break or not.
Yeah.
But I think like once we get past this initial hurdle where it's doubled up, then people can then it'll be usual for people. But if there are players who want to do want to do the May and the November one, which I'm likely to do, for Thrones. I was talking to another person and it's like, this is kind of doubling my fee because it was $60 to get into Worlds and $10 per additional game you play this last year.
Yeah. And
it's like, well, that's $70 for Thrones and Star Wars, but if they're doing the same thing with 2 different worlds, that's now $120.
And honestly, really, that is nothing in comparison to the cost of the flights and the hotel for 2 separate weekends.
Oh, yeah.
If you're talking local people, that's really honestly insignificant compared to having to fly to Minnesota twice.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the opposite side of like Star Wars, the card game, being my primary game, means that if I have to choose from the 2 weekends, I should be choosing the Star Wars weekend. But currently, I don't play any of the miniatures games. Like I own X-Wing, I own Imperial Assault, but I barely play them. So going to Worlds for one event is kind of, I don't want to say not worth it, but there's not enough stuff going on where like I actually see myself picking up. I started playing some Imperial Assault. I've been talking to Andy about it a lot. He loves it.
Yeah,
so I've been picking up some Imperial Assault to kind of hopefully have 2 options to play while I'm there. But for somebody who primarily plays Star Wars the card game and primarily plays card games specifically, the split kind of hurt me a little bit more than some other people. But I see myself going to both. I've been loving Thrones, and the Thrones card game is sweet, so I'll want to compete in that. And I think overall it's a good decision.
Yeah, overall it's a good one. And it's one of these decisions where there's always going to be some people who are better off and some people who are worse. It sounds like your friends who don't want to particularly make the 2 trips and pay for 2 weeks in hotels and $120. Painful. For me, I currently, unless I really get into Thrones a bit more than I am, Imperial Assault and Star Wars, I'm a happy boy. I can still play both those. Can still come and see both of you guys and hang around with Mick in his hometown. Get shown the sights.
What happens when they announce that the world champion playmat for Thrones has Sansa on it? Like you just have to jump on a flight immediately.
Oh, baby! Then I'll go. I'll have to go change my pants and
a Rocky type training exercise.
Yeah, I will
put the theme song on and we'll play some Skype Thrones.
To be honest, I'm planning on getting into Thrones a lot more. Imperial Assault has taken my time, but I'm kind of at a point now where I think I can take my foot off the gas a little bit and dabble on other things. So that will be Thrones for me over the next few months. But still good. And on a plus side for us Star Wars gamers, Minnesota in May rather than Minnesota in November. I wasn't a big fan of being stuck in the airport for a day. That was not cool. I did get to play some games in the airport.
Wait, why were you stuck in the airport for a day?
Snowed. My flight got cancelled on the way home in 2014.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
So, for those of us who don't go to Worlds, like me, obviously this change has also sort of changed up the seasonal approach.
Yeah.
So, I'll let you guys discuss that one because it's quite interesting, I think.
Well, yeah, so the way with bringing Star Wars Worlds to May, there was either going to be a year where the gap was 18 months or where the gap was 6 when they adjusted it. So FFG decided to make it 6. So we'll have a Worlds in November 16, and then we'll have Worlds pretty much straight away again in May 17.
Which means we will have the shortest reigning world champion of Star Wars the card game.
Best not. Yeah, I'll still take it, to be honest, Tom. I'd still take it. But what it does mean is that FFG, as well as switching up the World Championship season, it's not quite enough time in those 6 months to do store championships, regionals, nationals, ready for the Worlds again. So what they've done is they've scrapped store championships that year. We'll come back in November after Worlds, basically straight into a regional season, and then it will bump up from there. But from that point on, the Star Wars games and pretty much every other non-Star Wars license game will, when we're having our store championships, the other games will have their regionals. When we have our regionals, the others will have their store championships. So they're kind of out of phase from the beginning of 2017.
And we'll have 4 season kits too.
Yeah.
Yep, so they're up into 4 game night kits, which is nice.
A lot of stuff coming.
I don't love what they did with the inverse schedules. Personally, as a player who plays both sides of the pool, right, that basically means I'm going to have more events for some games, but they're less important events, and I'll have less events for the more important games, right? But really, if you look at the schedule, you have Worlds in November, and then the regional, the season starts from November to like February, and then it looks like March and April have nothing, and then you go into the Star Wars Worlds. And then immediately after Star Wars Worlds, you then get another 4 months of the opposite events. And then again, you have nothing in September and October, and then you go into the other worlds. They could have, instead of having a 4-month regional or store championship season, they could have had like a 3-month and said, okay, we're going to do 3 months of Star Wars regionals, and then after that, do 3 months of the other games regionals. Or store championships if they're gonna. They just didn't need to directly overlap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna matter. The thing that's really interesting on here is that they haven't given us any information about what's gonna happen in nationals next year. It just literally says from January to December nationals for both. So it kind of seems like they're gonna let different countries run their nationals when they want, maybe, or we don't really know what's going to happen.
They kind of do that already, don't they? I mean, FFG run the US and North America nationals, but then over here in Europe, it's the distributor or the community.
Yeah, it might just be with the turnaround that they don't do a nationals this first year.
Yeah, that might be the case, but they, I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like they're going to consistently, like, if they're going to have Star Wars Worlds in May, they're not going to run Star Wars Nationals again in June at Origins next year, because why have your Nationals a month after?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So,
August is still fine.
And August is for the North America Championship, which, while we're talking about all this, they also, in this announcement, said that they will officially have European Championships, like an official FFG European Championship starting next year.
High five, Anton.
I need to get a passport.
Oh, come on!
I'll high five. I'm going to come and win.
Oh yeah.
Anton, have your passport back.
Yeah, get your passport. You're not coming
to
That's why you haven't attended.
I got to get past my wife as well. That's the bigger problem.
Okay.
Oh, Mick will teach you how to do that. I think you just have to be stealthy. So yeah, he uses stealth.
Genius. I mean, but in terms of, Anton, you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of these changes to the competitive scene kind of to fit Worlds in. So as someone who's not been to Worlds, what's your opinion of it now that effectively you've been told that you're not going to get a store championship season next year?
That's not true. You will get one.
Well, early in the year.
After Worlds.
Yeah.
Well, what I've experienced over this store championship, being like one of the main community members on the Facebook, there are so many collisions with different people running different events. It's all clumped up. So we're having numbers dragged away from other card games so that people can go play Thrones or something. Splitting it up, hopefully, I'm hoping means that we can get more numbers into the games because there's not going to be too much conflict.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping.
That's a great
for.
point.
But that is specifically why if they took the 6 months and used 3 and 3 separated instead of 4 months with both sets of games running at the same time and then 2 months of nothing, there is overlap. Like, I scheduled all my store championships around my entire region's schedule, basically, which involved Star Wars, Thrones, Conquest, Netrunner, Imperial Assault, X-Wing, everything, basically.
Yeah.
And it's tough to do. Like, when I'm considering all of Rhode Island, all of Massachusetts, all of Connecticut, and then there's some people that'll come up from New York, and some people that'll come down from like New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont. Like, I was trying not to overlap so much stuff, and it still happens. Like, it's tough, and maybe FFG could help if they took control of it with the scheduling. But based on how they've scheduled regionals, I'm not so sure that I'd love that. So I don't know.
We'll see.
I really just wish it was a 3 month with no overlap, and they utilized those other 2 months. And if you really separated it like that, you would have far less overlaps.
I think it's going to come down to is that we're going to rely on the community members to really push these events out so that everyone knows about them and just keep the seasons flowing. So
I think we're already in that state. Like, without the community doing what they do, none of these games would be surviving, right? Like, my local meta specifically has gone from nothing to being apparently one of the largest metas in the world, and not just for Star Wars. Like, we might have had the largest Star Wars tournament, but we also had 42 people for our Netrunner Store Championship, and I've seen maybe 2 or 3 Netrunner events, Store Championships this season beat that, like, have more people, and that's Netrunner. Like, and we have our Thrones one tomorrow. I hope we get huge numbers for that too, because the meta is really booming around here. It's just, it takes a lot of time and effort. Like,
yeah, for sure. But as you say, that's no change to how we currently do it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's, yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too long because we're known for going on to the 2+ hour episodes, and we're well on our way there. And I know Mick, I think because of winning the state championship.
Yeah, we still got to get through all the Galactic Ambitions.
Yeah, and you've got to get out for a celebratory evening with your good lady friend. So let's crack on. I know there's some topics around Worlds and like tournament structure changes. We'll probably discuss those on another episode. But for now, we thought you guys might be interested in a few spoilers.
Spoilers are good.
Spoilers are good. Yeah, so FFG were gracious enough to send us the Scum and Villainy pod from the upcoming pack So Be It from next in the cycle. I'll take the objective and then we'll go around in order. So it's a 5-1 Tatooine traded Scum objective. It's Schemes and Intrigues. It's got an interrupt that says, when this objective is destroyed, shuffle each captured card here back into its owner's deck. So rather than going back to hand and being rescued, I go back in the deck.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, it stops a lot of those Kraken effects that we've seen. I think. Will it stop Kraken, actually?
I don't think it...
Oh, conflicting advice from the world champions
here. I don't have it in front of me. So what does Kraken say, and what does...
Schemes and Intrigue says, interrupt. When this objective is destroyed, shuffle each captured card back into its owner's deck.
Yeah, so Kraken won't get
That's an interrupt.
That's an interrupt.
Yeah. Kraken says after a unit or enhancement is rescued.
Right.
That would never happen.
So this will stop Kraken doing his thing.
Tough luck.
But I don't think that's the point of this. I
No.
think the point is you're going to play capture effects. You're going to put a bunch of good units here, and then they won't get them back, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that was always one of the weaknesses of some of the capture effects is you've taken away good cards, but man, they blow up that Tatooine crash and Bonanza.
Yep. So it's a good start to the Scum Pod. Let's see if they can,
I think that's okay.
can round it out. So Anton, do you want to take the main?
Right, we have Mon. He's a 4-cost, 3 health scum unit. He's got 2 force pips. He's got a black tactics, a white tactics, and a white blast. He's got some important traits: character, force sensitive, and spy. I always pronounce this wrong. Elite.
Yeah.
Reaction, this is a big one. After this unit places 2 or more focus tokens on a unit during a strike, capture that unit. Limit once per turn.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's nuts.
That's really good.
A character with 2 tactics on them, regardless of that reaction, is there's not many units that can do that. You got Zyzor, you got Palpatine, and I don't think there's not that many more. Is there? Thrawn.
I got one. The Anxiety Elite.
That,
If you really want to pull that one out.
that's
Yeah.
staple.
Give her a lot.
But yeah, just being able to lock down 2 units or potentially capture 1, you're pretty flexible options there.
Well, it's getting stuff off the board. I mean, that's the big thing about this is Scum's getting some more removal, and they're getting repeatable removal.
Yep.
I mean, that's the part that's really crazy about this. Is that Scum starts winning edge battles, and not only your stuff's just gone.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it also very important. This guy's a force sensitive individual, which
baby!
means he can use a Sith lightsaber, which is bonkers. It's even more bonkers when we finish
And the
talking
Sith
about the
lightsaber's
pods.
an enhancement,
It is.
so that means you can sell swoops to strike with them multiple times.
Stop that. The reaction is limit once per face.
Per turn.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I only captured one of your units and just locked the others into oblivion.
That's enough out of you, Shield Man.
Actually, shields are pretty good against this guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, if they think they're going to be able to capture something with Ep08, and you go into an edge battle, and they outbid you, you lose the edge battle, but you put in a protection from Curon's pod. I mean, who would play Curon's pod, right? Mm-hmm. But, you bid a protection. Suddenly, Ep08, like, he's not able to get that thing off the board.
Unless he has a Sith lightsaber.
Yeah.
Unless he has a Sith lightsaber.
Re-tactics.
But the only problem is,
of course,
edge tactics, isn't it? The Sith lightsaber.
Yeah,
you have to win edge.
Is that an Ep08? Is that a numeral too?
Oh, it is. That's true. He does have to win edge, Anton. That is correct. But he is also a unique Scum unit, which means this dude is gonna love Princess Scheme.
Oh, baby. God, yeah.
You know what else is great about Princess Scheme? There's a promo in that pod now. Love it. Well, there will be. That is not out yet.
Tom's a happy boy with Ep08, it seems. So, Tom, does the third card in the set keep you happy?
Yeah. I don't know how to say this. Shivin? Is that a Shivin mercenary? Shevin,
maybe.
2 cost. He's a Chud, 2 health, 1 force pip with a black unit damage and a white objective damage. He's a character. He's a mercenary. And he says reduce the cost for you to play enhancements on this unit by 1. So that seems good.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an enhancement in the pod?
Yeah, you need 2 cost guys.
I mean, yeah, it's a 2 cost Chud. He has a blast.
An ability.
There's probably a good enhancement in this pod, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you put it on him?
No, never.
See?
But, I mean, if I don't have the other guy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just trying to think of other Scum enhancements that go on Cat, and there isn't too many. We got the free blaster pistol and the vibro blade, the ones that come to mind.
Flamethrower?
Yeah, flamethrower,
good
yeah.
call.
I mean, it's kind of he is Scum affiliated, right?
Yeah.
So Shad was kind of pointing this out because the Home 1 set just released, Solidarity of Spirit, and that is that's tough to play against with hybrid decks.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, you only have a couple big mains in there? Do you have anything that's a good 3-cost unit? But Zizor's pod's actually pretty decent against it, because you get Zizor, Scum Unit, Headhunter, Scum Unit, Debt Collector, Scum Unit. So if they go big, you can just drop in a Zizor if you're playing like Zizor and Sith. Or if they try to go small with the Rogue Squadron X-Wing, you could get maybe a Headhunter or a Debt Collector. So the fact that this is a Scum-affiliated unit actually is... It's relevant.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I think it's okay. It's an okay chud. Like, it's a chud.
Yeah. Two pips on the main, 1 pip on the chud, so we're quite light on the force pips for now. Let's see if that ramps up in the future cards. Mick.
All right, so the next card's an enhancement, Head of Security. This is unique. It's 2 cost, 2 pips. Enhance a Scum unit, and it gains Black Tactics. So you can only have 1 Head of Security, and Ifant Mon's a pretty good Head of Security.
Yeah.
He is.
Boba Fett's also a good Head of Security.
It
also counts as an enhancement, so you could sell swoops and then strike a bunch with them, too.
God.
Xizor.
Tactics.
Xizor, also good head of security.
Make him a Head of Security. You can't put a lightsaber on Zizor.
No, you
So I
can't.
guess you do, like, double Sith lightsaber, Head of Security on Ifant Mon. Swing for 5 tactics, capture something, sell a swoop, swing for another 5. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then you keep Palpatine back for defense.
Ouch. Well, important thing then, this is a title.
Boba also crazy.
Yeah.
Like on BTS Boba.
Double
Because
strike.
you swing, do 2 guns, you get a Black Tactics, maybe 2 blast. You strike again for blast and tactics.
It's pretty good.
It's a black tactics as well, so Ifant Mon suddenly, if you put it on him, doesn't need to win that edge battle anymore to do his capture.
And he can do that every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really what Scum needed.
Yeah.
Like, repeatable removal to get just problem units off of the board.
Yeah.
See, now, if you have Head of Security in your hand, though, right? And it's unique. You can only have 1 of them in play. And you play this chud and you only have 1 resource left. It costs 2, which is a lot,
For an
right?
enhancement, yeah.
For an enhancement, it's a lot. So being able to put this on the chud for 1, kind of, that makes this chud better, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you could definitely... I mean, you might be in a situation where you need to do that on a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually the chud will die. You don't care because it's unique. You might want him to die so that you can play something else. So
Someone else gets the promotion to head of security.
well, let's not even talk about promotion.
That's for Navy, guys.
Wait, has that been spoiled?
That's been spoiled.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Smooth.
Andy?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of that. The 2 costs, I think, keeps it in check.
And the unique.
And the unique. But yeah, two costs for that for 1 icon, even if it's a black tactics. Compare that to 1 cost for a gun and a white tactics on the lightsaber. It says lightsaber. You've got to make sure you're putting this on the right guy and getting the use out of it. So that's a good way to keep it balanced, I think. 5th card in the set. It's actually a fate card, Secret Objective. It comes at fate slot 8 in the pack. It's got 3 force pips. And Secret Objective, if you're the attacking player, you may choose an enemy objective that you have not engaged this phase. If you do, you are now engaged with the chosen objective instead. So it's hands tricks and the Luke's land speeder.
We've
And
seen
it's
a
3
couple
dots.
of these already, right?
And it's 3 dots.
3 dots.
It's
3 pips, yeah. Which brings us up to 8.
Which is so Arden loves this fate pod.
Yeah, she does like the mission pods.
Yeah. Love me some Arden. But yeah, it's nothing new, but it's a great 3 dot edge card, and you can surprise some people with engaging an objective that perhaps they didn't shield, and now you're going to go in on it. So yeah, it's a good fate card for sure.
Yeah, it's a good way to double engage an objective and get like 2 unopposed damage.
Yep.
Well, you
have to
attack
secret objective
over to your real target,
and then engage it properly.
Then engage it.
Engage it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good way of getting the double whack off.
Yep.
And we'll finish off. Anton, do you want to take the mission?
Yeah, 1-cost mission. Scum, capture the assassin. Tatooine traded, and it's got a reaction. After this mission is completed, capture a target enemy unit or enhancement.
So it has 5 health, right?
5, yeah.
And it has a pip, which is good because that brings us up to 9, which is a lot for a scum pod. I like that. And these missions become a lot more usable with pips because
if you don't need it, just chuck it.
I like it.
Is there a mission with no pips?
I don't think
Dark Genocide's kind of the outlier because it has 6 health, but it costs 0.
But it doesn't have pips, right?
I don't think so.
No, does it not have pips?
Grabs the Sith deck. Keep talking.
Reference.
So, this whole pod, I feel like it's going to really bring Scum up.
1 pip. Right.
Yeah. Okay, it does have a pip.
Yeah.
I think this whole pod is really going to bring Scum to like the top tier, right? Like this is something that Scum really needed.
Yeah.
Although my Sith loving ways immediately want 2 of this, 2 Zizor, 2 Bach, 2 Palp, and then I'm either thinking 2 Mara or a 1 Mara, 1 Jabba's Rancor split. This is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, there is a really cool Sith lightsaber elephant mom. My spell check always corrects Ephant Mom over to Elephant Mom.
Sure.
And Elephant Mom loves Palpatine.
How often do you type
Ephant
Mom?
It's his password. We know what his password is now, people.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that list that I just said, like it's 4 missions, which is excessive. But like the more I play Bach, the more I just.
Oh, those missions are crazy, though.
Yeah, the more every time I play Bach,
board.
I'm like, if I have Bach in play and I don't have a mission, I want more missions in my deck. Like I just want a mission at all times. Both of those missions are bonkers, right? Like, and you have, if you had 2 Zizor, 2 Palp, and 2 Ephant Mon, you are stacked up with tactics, with 4 enhancements to give units more tactics. Plus, you're just crushing edge battles because there's tons of Force icons. You have Prince's Scheme, and you have a Jabba's Rancor. Yeah, that whole list will be sick. It's going to happen.
There's no twists in that pod, though, now.
I don't need twists.
Oh, true story.
And then you've also got Zizor capturing.
Yeah, you have Prince's Scheme, so that works well enough.
I mean, maybe you drop the 1 Mara and you play 1 Council, but like I don't think you need to. I guess maybe I have to look at the.
No, man, you need lightsabers.
Mara every day.
Mara, yeah. You need Rage still.
Yeah.
Rage is awesome.
Yeah.
Rage on Ephant. Oh,
God.
Super good.
Painful.
It might be a little light on resources. If you go double Mara, maybe you don't play Jabba's Rancor. Maybe you do like a Mara and a Council. Because double, like you would have, this doesn't have a resource.
Yeah, the mission
Bach
stuff
doesn't have
doesn't have resources.
Yeah, and then you'd also have Jabba's Rancor without a resource. So maybe you can't do Jabba's Rancor, but that would get us a twist and some card draw. And
well, either way, if we're just talking around the new Scum set, we're saying it's some great units with great reactions, lots of tactics, a mission that we're happy to see hit the board. It sounds like
lots of pips.
Lots of pips. It's just missing the resource. So if you can fit it in a deck that doesn't mind that, sounds like this pod is going to have a place in a lot of decks. Mono Scum and splashing into Sith.
Yep.
Ouch.
Splashing a Navy. I mean, any kind of repeatable removal.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really good.
Don't splash into Navy. Navy doesn't need more.
Navy's fine for now.
Navy's good.
But yeah, so thanks to FFG for sending the spoilers, Evan. We love you. Keep them coming. And
awesome.
Yeah, it was a great set to spoil. So that'll be in So Be It, which is, I believe, the next pack out in the cycle. So get your minds, juices are flowing. See what kind of decks you can build with this pod in them. And that's it for spoilers. Oh, Tom.
I was just going to say, I hope it's out by our first regional. I think our first regional is on April 30th, so there's plenty of time. But yeah,
it could be silly.
Yeah.
So we'll move on now. That's the spoilers done. Anton has his guest topic. So do you want to hit us with it, Anton?
Right, guys, so I've been fighting my inner demons this week, as I alluded to at the beginning of the show, of attempting to try and win my first tournament in 3 years. And a topic came up on Card Game DB, and it was about the importance of winning and stuff like that. So my question to you guys is, how would each of you say you achieved greatness in this game? And what does one have to do to be regarded as great, aside from winning worlds? Does it really matter in the end? And
that was my answer.
And to move on from that, do you feel any different now than you did before you were considered great? And what would your advice be to people like me who I've been in the competitive meta for 3 years, but there's people coming in, and I know they want to win. Everyone wants to win when they play in these tournaments. What would your advice be to them breaking into the game?
Break Andy's legs before he gets in the building.
I have thought of doing that.
So that he can't make it into the building.
Tom, do you want to, well, seeing as you're talking already, let's go with you first, I guess, and we'll go round. I'll go next, and then Mick.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of card games over time. Like, so this wasn't my first card game. With this specific game, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, I think, that will help you get better. Remembering where certain cards are, what pods they're in, like where are your resources, where are your fate cards, especially twists. Being able to identify like what pods are in a person's deck, and just paying attention to reactions. And there's a lot of little things in this game that build up into an overall effect of how good you are going to be, right? So you might be really good about remembering your reactions, but you might not pay attention to how many twists they have, and you might lose a lot of games because of it. Myself, I don't know at what point, people considered me great. I've always thought I was good at the game, but going into Worlds this year, I had never won a major tournament. I had never even won a store championship or a regional. I had top cut many of them. I've won lots of game night kits, but I had never won basically a store championship or above. I came in second at nationals, so I got really close. But what I tell a lot of people, at least with major tournaments, is that I think skill is more important to get you into the cut, and then it takes a little bit of luck to finish it off, right? Like, if you're playing in a tournament with 120 people, I guarantee more than 16 of those people are top 16 quality players, right? So not everybody's going to make it every time, but your skill is going to help you win the early games and hopefully not get swept in the later rounds, which generally will let you make it into a top cut. But once you hit that top cut, you're playing against everybody who's should be equal skill level. So if both players are playing their best games and not making any mistakes, a little bit of luck goes a long way, right? Like, I drew really well in the finals this year. All of my games, I seemed to get the cards I needed when I needed them, and things just came together. I don't think I made a lot of play mistakes. There might be a couple small things if I went back and watched some of the games that I have recorded. So not making any mistakes obviously helps, but getting the cards that you need also help. So yeah.
Well, and the last point, I guess, that from Anton's question, Tom, does it really matter in the end, do you think?
Would what matter?
Being great. Being regarded as great.
I think there's a certain level of, like, newer players looking up to you. Like, I got some people interested in the game locally who kind of just had this attitude of, like, they wanted to play with the world champion type thing, or they wanted to learn from the world champion. But I also think you can do certain things. Like I tried to use the fact that I won and the popularity behind what I had going on, and I used that to promote the Skype community, right?
Yep.
And I started this, and I started forming that Skype community. And if I have to be honest, I did very little other than promoting the Skype community. I played with a lot of my friends, but as it started getting larger and we hit Store Championship season, and since I play 3 of these games and I organize all the events for my local store, I've played very little on Skype over the last couple months, but all the other people who have gotten involved because they heard about it from what I promoted, they're the people that are really keeping it going, and it seems like I check in every once in a while. There's a great Facebook group. Andy, I'm sure you'll put the link in the
Ding, ding.
the chat. But just anything you can do like that, to bring a positive impact to the game and the community from being considered great, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so let's try and answer this. I'm looking at the written version of it, so I don't miss anything. How would you say each of you achieved greatness, and what do you have to do to be regarded as great? I don't see that I am, Anton. I'm out of the 3 of us here that you're asking the question. Mick and Tom have very definitely got a crowning moment that kind of puts them in that camp, and that's winning the World Championships. I don't have that.
But you've consistently won lots of bigger events. So
your regional performance last year was
down to a deck that needed to be errated. Yeah.
Sure.
I think. Just before, I guess before you guys chip in, Anton, I don't think I am. I just think I'm a consistently good player. But we're getting to the point now, especially here in the UK, where there's 8-10 of us that can easily turn up to nationals and take it, and we're all kind of on the same level. So I wouldn't call myself any greater than any of those other 9 gents, of which you're one of them. I think I'm just a guy who 2 years ago decided that no one other than Team Covenant was doing LCG Star Wars videos, so I decided to buy a video camera and take it to the regional where I met you, and you beat me that year. So I don't think, other than Worlds or a national champion, like if you're a 2 or 3 time national champion, that probably helps cement you as one of the greats. But I don't think I'm a great. Does it matter in the end? I think to some people it'll matter more. It would be really nice for one of us to come back next year and take the World Championship and actually, be able to speak with authority on the same kind of level as Mick and Tom and kind of have some jokes about it. But I think it matters most for, like what Tom said, for building the community. It's at the end of the day, it's a title and a playmat for you. But if you can use that as a stepping stone to build a Skype group or get new players into the game or just enhance people's experience, or that's the best thing you can do with greatness, I think, is share it. Do I feel any different now than I did before? No, because I don't think I'm still just that guy who turns up to tournaments with a camera and asks to film it. What would your advice be to those breaking into the competitive game? Kind of what Tom and Mick said. For me, just be consistent. Go to as many tournaments as you can. If you're looking to break into the competitive scene, there's only one way of doing that, and it's playing competitively against other great players. So go to as many tournaments as you can rather than friendly nights, and eventually, you'll win one. And if you win 3, 4, 5, 6 in a season, you'll feel good and you'll have a wall of trophies. But I don't necessarily think it makes you great. So, but thanks. It's nice that you're asking me that. So, but no, I don't think I am. So, Mick, how about you?
Oh boy, I'm just trying to remember all of the points in this question.
Yeah, so I can read off again.
Begin with it. No, that's okay. I just really enjoyed playing the game, and when I saw that it was coming out, it was around the right time for me to get into something full-hearted, and I loved the game. I love all of the decision points in this game. I think there's so many instances where it's like, well, what are all of my choices this turn? And because you're drawing 6 cards a turn, there's a lot of combinations, a lot of possibilities every single turn. And it definitely rewards players who navigate through those choices and try to push their advantages at the right times. I played. I wound up doing well in the very first tournament that they had, the May the 4th regional around here. I hadn't played against very many other people, so when I went there, first tournament, 40, 50 people, and came in second place. That was thrilling. Winning Worlds back in 2014 just blew me away. I had endorphins for months afterwards.
It blew Tyler away
too.
It was
really thrilling. But then it started, like, the mind game started to set in too, of like, what am I going to play? I have to have some
the expectations of winning.
Yeah, the expectations of winning. I showed up to Madison, brought some fun decks for a regional. I was playing a Dark Side Pilots deck and a Light Side Pilots deck, which I knew was high variance, and it just didn't pop that time around. And it's like, And I make play mistakes, too. Definitely playing around the local area. Shad points out a lot of my oversights. If I branch out and try to play different decks, and I do try to play different decks, but it's something you have to practice for a while before you really start seeing the synergies, the combos, what to mulligan, what to keep, what you're trying to build to on a certain turn. So just throwing away a deck because you haven't won with it, for 3 games or so. I mean, sometimes there might be something in that deck that can really work. You just haven't practiced it enough. Other times, like the deck, other times you can just tell the deck's terrible, and you got to throw it away. Yeah. Let's see, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, play mistakes. The video we posted of me and my game against Johnny, that was really interesting because we did the commentary for it. And even in the commentary, looking through it, did not notice, and it was Mitchell who finally caught it, that I could have won that game. All I needed to do was free up my Yoda to attack, lock down Vader if he doesn't block, bat Vader out of the sky if he does block, and then I had the blast I needed with unopposed and shields on the other ones. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why did I miss that play? Yeah. And that's where the mind game set in. Why did I miss that play? And it had been, I don't know, at that point, 7th round, like 8 hours, 9 hours of playing cards. So
it takes its toll.
I tend not to think that I get fatigued. I actually think in the long run, I generally play better and better, or at least I don't degrade as quickly as some of my opponents in the later rounds. That I get more focused. So I'm not sure what happened. The only thing I can really think of is I knew that it was probably going to be my last turn, and the way that he attacked, he had locked down my Leia and my Yoda. And when that happened, it was like, well, I got to draw into the answers. And as far as I was concerned, like, I didn't have a Yoda anymore.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to fix that, like, realize that when I get those cards, like, I could have a Yoda again. And, it's like an oversight, but you kind of hold yourself to a high bar to, like, I shouldn't have made that mistake.
You played the Trust Your Feelings on Luke, right?
Yeah, I put the Trust Your Feelings on Luke, because, that's what you put on Luke.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Trust Your Feelings, when you see that card, you normally think, this lets me double strike. Right? Like, you don't think, like, this is just a Force Read for 1 tactics right now, because that's what I need, right? Like, because if you picked up a Force Rejuve, you would have been like, oh, Force Rejuve Yoda, win. You would have seen that. It's just that's what that card does. That's not what Trust Your Feelings normally does.
I think that's the hidden kind of part of this question, if I'm not missing anything, Anton, is that in the same breath that world champions miss triggers, miss plays, and lose games occasionally because of it, That doesn't, on the same, by the same token, it doesn't mean that people who haven't won a world championship can't talk in a forum about this game. There's plenty of people, yourself included, who do a great job for this community, and you know, there can only be one world champion each year, one national champion each year. All the great members of this community that contribute so much on the forums, on Facebook, on these YouTube channels, on other podcasts, they don't need to have that trophy, I don't think, to validate them, to make them a valuable part of the community.
Yeah, and I love going out of the way and seeing what other people are doing, what decks people are playing, what ideas they have, the innovations people have done. Like, I absolutely love seeing what I think Scotty and Josh Johnson are some of the most innovative deck builders that I know, that I see the way they talk about the game.
For sure.
So I just like hearing other takes on things, and then I'll like take it back, experiment with it, see if it works for me.
Well, that's one of the things that I loved about playtesting for Worlds in Skype last year, was that I was playtesting with these guys right here, Andy and Anton and Neil. Did I meet John Paul before that? I don't remember.
Maybe.
I might have. But like, you know, we were playtesting a lot on Skype, so I was playing with a meta that was totally unlike what we like. They were playing a lot of Arden, and we were completely dismissing her at that point. And then I was playtesting with like Matt Brown.
She's amazing.
She is pretty good. But I was playtesting with like Matt Brown and Nate Tripp. What?
You played some Arden at your last tournament.
I did. Arden's sweet.
She's gorgeous.
Arden's super good.
You're welcome, Tom. You're welcome.
Bach made me like her even more because he gave me more ways to get her into play for free, which is great. But she's good. She's really good.
So I don't know if hopefully that answered the question. Anton, any follow-ups for the individuals?
No, I guess what I can take from all your comments is maybe it's not greatness we're all trying to achieve, but as a community, like a council, we everyone contributes their own personal piece of greatness to make this game just the way it is.
Yeah.
So I'll take a positive from that, and I'll just try harder and build better decks. But I still keep innovating.
10 pods. 10. This many.
Is he going over 10 pods?
Anton.
What?
Yeah.
What? Hey,
That's
some
another-
decks
that's
do
another-
more than 10.
Yeah, that's another discussion from another podcast for another time.
Yeah, I think just keep playing, keep trying things, keep innovating. I mean, the big thing is really the community for this game and these games, right? It's not just Star Wars. I've met so many of the Thrones community now and the Netrunner community, and really the thing that's great about the Fantasy Flight games, it really comes down to they're great games. They're very fun. They're very strategic. I love competing in them, but they also have great communities, you know, and Worlds to me, like 2 years ago, like I was brand new to the game. I had played for a couple months. I just wanted to go and play. I didn't know anybody. And from there, every year, Worlds is more of like a social thing than a competition. Like, I was really like, all right, let's go. We're going to go have beers with Andy and Mick and just hang out. And then it was like, oh, I made the top cut. Great. Let's go have more beers. And then I won. And then I got silly strings. And it was bad. But, it's the community that's really great. That's the big thing with these games is that
and the community helps. I mean, they help the other players get better too. Like,
yeah,
we usually have a discussion near the end of the game of like what the turning point in the game was. And you can often trace it back to one or two plays that one of the sides made that really opened things up. Now, of course, sometimes one of the deck just is on fire and draws better. I've often said, like, if one of the decks draws really well, the other deck draws terrible, of course the game's lopsided. But if they're both drawing kind of in the middle, I mean, that's where you can use your your book, right? To draw upon your experiences to figure out how to navigate that field. Like I love playing in the middle. I actually love playing at the low end where both of the decks are drawing really poorly too.
I like when 5 turns into the game, I'm like, I haven't seen a Sith library, and then I pick up 6 cards, and shit, there's 5 Sith libraries. That's great.
That's where they are.
That's where they were the whole time. Awesome. So.
When Edge of Darkness came out, Shad built a Scum Sith hybrid deck to try out the new Scum pods. And the deck's doing really, really well against me. Like, it's played, it hit a Sith library every turn. It's got Vader out, Royal Guards. It's got Palpatine out. Turns out that the bottom 20 cards of his deck are all the Scum cards. We forgot to shuffle.
Genius.
Genius.
Shad, we love you.
That's awesome.
Man. This is really powerful. It feels just like running Mono Sith. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I've hit Council and Vader and Emperor.
My lord.
Well, first turn, yeah, that's bonkers.
Huh. Well, yes, I hope that answered the question, Anton. And as always, if anyone's got any kind of follow-ups to that, you can find pretty much all of us on Card Game DB or on Twitter, apart from Mick, who doesn't have a handle. The rest of us are below. But yeah, that's cheers for coming on, Anton. As always, you're welcome on the council anytime, mate. As a bit of a founding member, you're always welcome back. So it's good to see you again and get your participation. But before we sign out then for this episode, Mick, any shout-outs before we go?
You got me thinking about the math team again.
Ooh, baby. Yep.
Congratulations, all you guys. I know some of you may watch this. Well done.
Congratulations, guys. Anton, anything from you? Any shout-outs?
I'll shout out to Mick Paget, who runs the Lost Ark Stevenage games. He continuously, year on year, will put events on, even if it's to the cost of his own, because of the way these games are. But he continues to put good events on, and just a great shout out to him.
Yeah. Is that Lost Ark in Stevenage?
Yep.
Yeah. Great venue. You've been there. Check it out if you can. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we just had a great store championship. Thank everybody that came out. It was great, but specifically John Heath Clark. He's the guy in New York. That promo that I showed earlier, he's the guy that makes all that stuff happen. So he got his community together. They came up with 4 people for our regional, for our store championship, which obviously helped make that store championship what it was. Because you got 4 people traveling 4 hours for a store championship. That's pretty good. But yeah, these custom promos are great. He also posted a Masterful Manipulation promo. I'm not sure what that one's coming out for, but yeah, John does a lot for the community. So yeah. Shout out to John. Good stuff. I'm sure we're going to have him on the council at some point soon.
We've already set those wheels in motion, I think, so we just need to book a day. So
awesome.
That'll be a good day. For me, I think a bit like you guys, there's 2 stores specifically that I've seen run great store championships. One is Richard up at Sanctuary Games, kind of in the middle of the country. I'll put a logo and a link to all these guys down in the description. Richard's doing a great job of building all the FFG LCGs, the communities, getting them bolstered up in his store. So keep it up, Richard, and you'll see me there. One of our regionals this year for Star Wars is at Sanctuary Games as well, so I will be there. The other store championship was a store that had moved in Sheffield, not too far from me. It's Patriot Games in Sheffield, and they've got a fantastic new venue, really gorgeous new store with plenty of play space and a huge amount of stock. But a specific thanks to Jim and to Sally for running a great day. We had a good turnout. It was about 8 to 10. So it was a pretty middle-of-the-road level attendance, but it was a really smoothly run tournament, and Jim and Sally made us all feel really welcome. So thank you for making some Star Wars players very comfortable and very happy a couple of weeks back. It is appreciated. But I think that wraps it up for episode 8. Wars not make one great. I hope you believe us, Anton. So just keep your nose to the grindstone, and that trophy will be yours, I'm sure. But thanks for joining us for episode 8, and we will sign out and see you next time on episode 9. See you.